Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of our 34-30 series here, where we are covering, still in the American League East. Today, we're covering the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox, we can just kind of jump right on into it. They're teams that, in the last 20 years have been very successful. They've won 4 World Series. They won the World Series as recent as 2018. But since then, they've only made the playoffs one time, and last year they really bottomed out, finishing 5th out of 5 teams. That's actually the second time in 3 years they finished last in the AL East. Their best player left in free agency was Xander Bogaerts, going over to San Diego. And then in 2021, they did lose to the ALCS. But again, like I said, they bottomed out pretty heavily last year. Their age went up, and then they lost their best player. So where are they going to go? What do we think they're going to have? What's going to happen to them? But John, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
All right. Their big acquisitions were Corey Kluber, who's a youthful 36-year-old player, and he lost some speed. I got to hear somewhere. He lost speed off his fastball, which is not good at his age. Let me see where I got him here. Anyway,
he had a 4.34 last year too, which is not great. He just turned 36. His WHIP was 1.2, which isn't great. He's definitely not the same pitcher that he was. And if he's going to be rolling out, obviously Chris Sale, who knows what he's going to be like after missing so much time.
Oh yeah.
But after him, you got Nick Pivetta, Garrett Whitlock, and then James Paxton.
Yeah, well, before we get on to that, they added Yoshida, the outfielder. I don't know that that's going to be a big win-win. He's got a good walk ratio, low K, minimal power, limited D. So, and then they got Justin Turner. He's a youthful 38. His power's going down. He still had good numbers. They had Richard Blyer in the trade for Barnes. He's 36 in April, 144 WHIP. They had Adam Duvall. He's a good field, good power, terrible average hitter, really good fielder. But his OPS was 677. I assume they're going to play him at center. Then the bullpen, they got Joely Rodriguez, 4.47 ERA, with like 27 walks, 57 Ks, 135 WHIP, not too impressive. They got Kenley Jansen. Kenley still got 41 saves, but he was with Atlanta. He had all kind of help, had young guys behind him. He's still a good pitcher, but they're old. They're really old. Okay, now if you want to break down the position by position, I'm ready.
Yeah, well, we can, I guess, touch on their age here for a second. I'm just taking a quick peek at their farm system. They're not rated very high. They're 19th for their bottom half, and they're all
you know what they are. They're the Orioles of, say, 2016, 17. Let's add a piece and try to keep this thing going. And it didn't work out for the Orioles. They just got older. Try to trade away guys from their farm system. Like I said, the farm system isn't much. Our boy Chime Bloom, I think he's overmatched. I can't see him lasting past this year because if you're not building up the farm system, they're not going to win in that division. If they do, I'll be shocked. They may have a good manager, but Chris Sale, if you get the rotation, what are we going to get at Chris Sale? Who knows? Chris Sale,
Kluber.
Yeah, how much has he pitched in the last couple years? Let's see, 48 in the third innings in the last 2 years. Okay, so what are we going to get from him? Who knows? He's still 34 years old this year. And then the rotation, you got Kluber. Okay, yeah, his fastball fell below 90 this year. Pivetta, you're going to get a 4.50 ERA. Gave up 27 homers last year.
His career ERA too. Don't forget, is over 5. He's got a sub 500 record.
He's not
his
much.
Career.
They Whitlock.
He's on the wrong side of 32.
Yeah, Whitlock is a good young pitcher. They bounced him back and forth between starting and rotation. I think he had 9 starts last year, relief and the rotation. But it wasn't too productive for him, so they assume they're going to leave him as a starter this year.
Well, then you got James Paxton, who's 34.
Well, James, when's the last time he pitched? 2020.
Yeah, he's just I don't know. They signed him for $10 million, which is a good. It's a pretty decent amount for him. But in 2020 he had a 6 ERA, and and he hasn't really pitched since then. So,
Well,
um,
starts he came in with a solid 5.89 ERA, 5-7 record, 70 innings. He had a WHIP of 159. Really, that's not formula. I don't see much there. Sale, you'll get some wins out of Kluber maybe just because of his experience. Pavetta, no.
what do you think about their catcher, Reese McGuire?
He's all defense, no hit. Let's see here. There we go.
They got
but catcher, and I got a bunch of notes about their catcher here. They're catching, like you said, they got Wong, and they got McGuire. Then they added. For some reason, I misplaced my notes here.
Jorge Alfaro.
There you go. That's the man. There it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. McGuire, D-First, Wong, good power, average defender. Alfaro, he's bounced around 3 or 4 teams now, so there must be a problem there. I don't see a lot of production out of that position.
No. But then I think, I guess moving on to the next position, they got someone who's supposed to be, a really solid player, in Tristan Casas at first base, who's a former first-round pick from Florida.
I like him. I think he's going to be good. He is a good eye. He'll get some walks. He's got power. As far as I know, he's a good defensive player. I'm not for sure there. I'd be lying if I said. But
he doesn't play much, though. I'm looking at it. So, obviously, he didn't play at all in 2020. In 21, he played 86 games. In 22, he played 76 games. In the minors, he played 27 in the majors. So, there's something to be potentially concerned there. Does he have the physical ability to go through 140 games?
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of ifs with this team. I don't see
him doing anything. That's why I don't want to jump ahead of us, but when we talk about our projections from this year, it'll kind of update it or reflect kind of our conversations right now. But I think we're pretty much in agreement. Casas might be the lone bright spot on this team. Devers, he can hit. Obviously, you're going to get some good production out of him.
Mm-hmm. Very good player, but he's not much on defense. The word is he's improving, but he has a 941 lifetime fielding percentage at third. Did you realize that?
No, that's not good. He's just there for his offensive power.
Right.
That's all you're going to get out of him.
He's a really he's good power, good 2-strike hitter. Defense, they say it's improving, but we'll see. 941 fielding percentage, just rough. He did have an 854, 859 OPS last year or lifetime. So he's productive. There's no, he's good, but what's going to be around him? To go to second base. The way I look at it, it's probably going to be Christian Arroyo.
That's what I get. That's what the projected depth chart's saying here, Christian.
Yeah.
He's solid last year too. I mean, he limited action. Obviously, he's been around the league. Playing on a couple different teams here. He's only 27 years old. He's a waiver guy, so you know what you're gonna. It's just
Arroyo. Power, a lot of strikeouts. Doesn't walk much. Below average defense. Okay, that's kind of like you said about some of the guys in an earlier episode with some of the players. They're good for a rebuilding or a not so good team, but if you're going to be good, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we can go on to the next position here, which is going to be we already spoke about Devers, so let's go ahead and touch on Enrique Hernandez, who's their projected starter. Obviously he's also 31 years old. He had a solid year last year in limited action, 93 games, hit 222.
But he's a 239 lifetime hitter. He doesn't have
Yeah,
much
so
power. He's only played 100 games. And he's a utility man, basically. He's played all over. He's only played 100 games ever at shortstop. So you're going to go into the season expecting him to be. I mean, I think he'll be solid, but he's, he Ks a lot. And Trevor Story, last I seen, he was putting a 60-day DL. So
anything you get out of him this year, I think is going to be lucky. And even when he was playing, he's not as productive, obviously, in regular air as it was in Colorado. So I don't see too much production come out of him as well.
Now, when you go to outfield here, I think you're going to be upset with me because I think there's a guy that you think's good and he's not.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Purdue.
But we're not there just yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's go ahead and touch on the biggest off-season signing for them, the 5'8", 170-pound Masataka Yoshida.
I didn't
know
he's that little.
Yeah, he's a little guy. But being so little, you'd think maybe, say he's similar to Ichiro because of maybe he's fast.
Yeah, well, he's no Ichiro.
He's not Ichiro. And, he's been playing since 2016 professional in Japan, and the man only has 21 stolen bases.
And I think
most he's ever had in the
whole
season is 8.
Double-A ball.
Yeah, and his power, he did have good power. I mean, I don't know what good power really constitutes over there.
He's limited, man.
He's never hit 30 home runs. Last 2 years, he's hit 21 home runs together. He does get on base, but again, that's minor league baseball.
Right, his OPS was great, over 1,000. But yeah, I wouldn't expect a lot out of him. Just like was it Saba? It was Chicago last year.
Yeah,
he started off good, and he ended up being like a 250-something hitter.
One thing that really is standing out to me, I'm looking at Yoshida's on his fielding. His fielding percentage last year. I'm trying to see.
My scouting report said his defense is limited, and if he's going to be in left field, have fun out there in the Green Monster because they don't have.
Well, he only played 40 games in the field last year, and out of 121 opportunities.
But I think he's a reach. They can't get anybody to go there much unless they're old and past their prime.
Yeah.
Why would you go there?
I agree.
I mean,
they're probably going to be bringing up the rear of AL East this year, I believe.
I'll be shocked if they don't. Well,
yeah.
And I said, the bullpen. I'm sorry, we're still in the outfield. Go ahead. I wanted to go over to something on the bullpen. A couple guys I forgot to mention.
Yeah, the next guy we can touch on is their projected starting center fielder, which is the 34-year-old Adam Duvall.
Yeah, he don't hit for an average. His power's down.
They are old.
Yeah, not to be funny, but
Adam Duvall hasn't hit above 230 since 2020, which is limited. But I mean, he's had seasons. I'm seeing here 195, 219, 192. He's just not a hitter. He does have one All-Star appearance to his name. He had 241 in that season, but he did have 33 home runs. But he's 27. He's going to be 34 this year. So the power has been going down, down, down. Based on our projections, when they hit that 33, 34 mark, they have a massive fall.
Well,
so I expect close to nothing out of him.
Jaron Duran is going to have to play. He's a left-handed hitter. He was a rookie about a couple hundred times last year. They've been expecting something out of him for the last couple of years. Hadn't been great. Ruff Schneider, another oldie but goodie, who'll be 32 this March. He's always been a part-time player. They'll get a little bit out of him. They're going to have to do it by committee, I think, with the age problem. And you don't know if Yoshida's going to be what they think anyway.
That's absolutely correct. But moving on to the next guy. So when I'm high on to a point. All right, he's not my favorite player, like you might think. Alex Verdugo.
Can I, before you get embarrassed, can I go ahead and read you a few things?
Please.
Okay.
By all means.
All right. I got my notes here. He doesn't have much power. He's an outfielder. Okay.
He's no power.
Right. He doesn't drive in many runs. He looks lost in the outfield. His defense is trending downward. Everything about him is trending downward. So now go ahead and make your comments. He's flashy because of his big chains and all, but that's about it. He gets good.
Well, I don't like that he's playing for Mexico instead of Team USA, although he wouldn't be able to start for Team USA. Is probably why he is playing for Mexico in the World Baseball Classic, because Mookie's going to start over him, or Trout. He's
player in
not starting
baseball.
over him. Huh?
Best player in baseball, Trout. Look at his numbers. He leads the world in everything for the last.
No, I disagree. But we'll get on that
Right.
later. Verdugo, I'm going to have a player comparison here. I want to see what you think. If this player was a bad fielder, him and Verdugo would be the same. Andrew Benintendi.
Andrew Benintendi hit.
Verdugo's a good, solid hitter in his career. You can't say he's not. He's a 286 lifetime hitter.
Yeah, but it's trending down. He's getting worse.
But
the Dodgers don't trade anybody if they're good. Think about that.
Well, I still think he's going to be their best average guy. He's going to hit. I think he's going to be 280.
You think he's going to hit higher than Devers? No.
Batting average, maybe.
No.
He's not going to have any power. He never has power.
Right.
Which, being 200 pounds at 6 foot, is kind of surprising.
He's one of those players, like you say. He's all right for that team. But Dodgers, he couldn't crack their lineup, so they got rid of him.
Well,
they'd rather go with dudes like Chris Taylor and all the old outfielders they had. Now they got Trace Turner. But anyway.
Then we move on to their projected DH, the young Justin Turner.
Yeah, he's going to hit the wall if he hadn't already. It's slowing down. I like
he hasn't
Justin
hit
Turner.
a wall, which is great.
I've seen him play many times in person.
Yeah. He was an all-star just 2 years ago, too.
I know.
But he's 38. At some point.
Right. They keep piecing it together with the old guys. It didn't work. It doesn't work for anybody.
He had a slight drop-off. No, he had no drop-off. He had 278 last 2 years, so there's no drop-off. But his on-base dropped a little bit. Slugging dropped a little bit. His OPS dropped a little bit. OPS plus dropped a little bit. Total bases dropped. Everything dropped. The power dropped substantially from 27 to 13. RBIs dropped a bit. So I expect to see those numbers continue to drop. I think the power's probably getting around 12 to 15 home runs is what I'm thinking for him.
If the wind's blowing really hard.
And I think his batting average is probably going to be around the 240s.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean him on the power. But, yeah, he's getting old. He was a great player. But one thing, if you're done on the DH and all that, I want to mention one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The bullpen, I mentioned Jansen, but I forgot to take John Schreiber out of the bullpen, pitched in 64 games. I had no clue. He had a 2.22 ERA in 64 games. John Schreiber's his career year.
You got Richard Blyer. He's a newcomer.
Yeah, well, that's a huge upgrade to me because they got rid of Barnes. He was they had him as a closer, and it was hit or miss with him, buddy. They were lucky to unload him. Chris Martin, they got from the Dodgers, 60 games, low whip.
Yeah.
And as far as I guess that's about all I can tell you about that team. I don't think much of the general manager. I think they have a good manager.
Alex Cora?
Yeah. I mean, he's done a few good things, hasn't he? Won a World Series, right?
Yeah, he got suspended for cheating.
Yeah. But no one seems to care about that. But if you're Houston, it's a much worse deal, right? But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we kind of discussed player for player on that roster. Again, we don't anticipate too much success come out of Fenway Park this year with Alex Cora as your manager. So we can go ahead and take a look at the projections that we reported on a couple weeks ago. We do have the Red Sox winning 77 games, coming in 5th place once again in the AL East. I think after, really diving into the Red Sox organization, that 77 sounds like it's a little bit high for them, I think.
Yeah, I forgot to mention a pretty solid pitcher they have there, a big guy, Tanner Houck. Yeah. I don't know how you overlooked him. He started 4 games, so he's mostly out of the bullpen, must be long relief. Well, 32 games, 60 innings, 3.15 ERA, but solid whip. Did he get hurt last year a little bit?
That I do not know off the top of my head.
Yeah, let's see. Schreiber and Martin will help them because their bullpen was bad. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
not much there for them, for sure.
No. But that's probably about all we can say about them. It's kind of short, but
I think that's short. I just think it really depends where the teams are going. If we got a team like the Red Sox, who's they don't have much going for them, we can't just sit here and talk. I mean, one thing we can touch on a little bit more is their prospects. That they do have. Tristan Casas is going to come up this year, which a lot of people are expecting him to be good. Marcelo Meyer.
Yeah, what do you hear about him?
So Marcelo Meyer, I have him in our top 10 rankings. I have him 10th, and I think he's the biggest boom or bust prospect. I don't. He worries me more than anyone else on the top 10 list, as I don't know how good he's going to be.
I think he
And
was
then after
reached
him,
where they picked him.
yeah, yeah. But after him, you have one other top-ish prospect in Sidani Rafaela. Rafaela? I don't want to say his name incorrectly, but
Oh yeah,
they got him.
well,
That's only tier one prospects that they have that I'm looking up right now. Then they got a couple tier two, and the rest are tier three guys. So it's just saying with Marcelo Meyer, he hit good last year. He's only 20 years old at the start of this season. I don't see him being there this year whatsoever. He probably will finish in AAA form this year. Then they got a Dominican guy, Miguel Blaze.
yeah, the outfielder. He's
Yeah, but
young. They say he's going to a potential 5-tool player, but he's young.
yeah. So I just don't. Even him. He's a tier two though. I mean, which at this point is pretty much nothing. Tatis was probably tier three at one point for the White Sox, I believe. So, look how good he did. So again, there not much in Boston this year. I think it's going to be some slim years for him in that division for the foreseeable future, especially with the Orioles with that much talent. The Yankees, which I know we were talking about a stat yesterday, you and I. Off camera about how they were 30 years in a row of a winning record.
You're right.
And this is,
People may not like them, but you got to respect them.
yeah, it's just like what are they saying that catch me if you can. There's something about when you put those pinstripes on, you win because everyone can't stop looking at them. Nobody can stop looking at them. But I know that's pretty sacrilegious. I mentioned the Yankees talking good about them on the Red Sox podcast.
But hey, we're trying to be honest here.
It's definitely going to be honest. The Red Sox don't have anything good coming on. It's going to kill me tomorrow when we talk about the Yankees. But that's the team we're going to do tomorrow. So I think, we cover the Red Sox a little bit here, good, a little in depth. Again, we see them finishing fifth in the division this year, around mid-70s to low 70s win total. The division is just too much talent in it right now, and the Red Sox just don't have the manpower to compete with it. But yeah, so again, what we would like to say before we sign off for today's podcast, it is sponsored in part by Jane's Creations, who has custom wreaths, custom blankets, handmade, homemade, USA made. The biggest and best sponsor we have so far. She sponsored all the American League teams, so we're very appreciative of what she does for this show. And yeah, John, I'll let you do the sign off if you'd like. And then again, come back tomorrow. We'll have the New York Yankees. We'll be doing the 30 for 30 on the New York Yankees tomorrow. Again, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, or YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. These shows will go up there. The Orioles one is unfortunately had an issue. Will not be on the Spotify account. However, that is on our YouTube page. This will be on Spotify and it will be on YouTube. But yeah, John, go ahead and sign off.
That's all for now, folks. We'll see you next time. Brooks Knows Baseball.
Good night.
Good night.